You know, it's people I can put on here that the label wants me to put on here, but I fight for this one reason, man. Like, I fight to promote what I love. You know what I'm saying? I fight to promote the music that I truly love, so.
Drake just dropped a bombshell in his new track that nobody caught, except the most eagle-eyed fans who spotted his dictionary reference aimed directly at Kendrick Lamar. While everyone was dancing to the beat, Drake was playing chess, not checkers. The girls on stage twerking with a dictionary line isn't just clever wordplay. It's a calculated attack on Kendrick's intellectual rap style that completely flips the script on their feud. And what Drake did at his Melbourne concert after Kendrick's Super Bowl performance, that was the knockout punch nobody saw coming. What if I told you that Drake's newest track isn't just another club banger, but a carefully calculated missile aimed directly at Kendrick Lamar's entire artistic identity? The line about girls twerking with a dictionary might seem like throwaway wordplay at first glance, but industry insiders are revealing it's actually one of the most sophisticated disses Drake has ever crafted. Drake's timing couldn't be more deliberate. Dropping his collaboration album with Party Next Door just days after Kendrick's massive Super Bowl performance shows he's not backing down from this high-profile feud. While fans were busy vibing to the catchy beats and smooth vocals, most completely missed the venomous attack hiding in plain sight. The dictionary reference isn't some random imagery. It's a precision strike at the very foundation of what makes Kendrick respected in hip-hop circles. Unlike Drake's more accessible mainstream approach, Kendrick has built his reputation on complex wordplay and socially conscious lyrics that often require deeper analysis. By invoking dictionaries in a club setting, Drake is essentially saying, "Your intellectual style doesn't work where real people party." This attack cuts deeper than personal jabs or rumors. Drake isn't going after Kendrick's personal life or relationships. He's questioning his entire artistic relevance. The implication is devastating. While Kendrick might impress critics and win literary awards, his music doesn't connect with regular people in actual venues. It's psychological warfare aimed at what makes Kendrick special in the first place. Music industry veterans have noticed Drake's evolving strategy in this beef. Rather than throwing direct accusations or obvious insults, he's moved towards subtler forms of undermining his rival's entire approach to hip-hop. It's a more mature form of battle. Not just saying, "I'm better than you," but suggesting, "Your entire artistic identity is pretentious and disconnected." The significance of this lyrical sniper shot becomes even clearer when you consider how Drake opens "Give Me a Hug" with the pointed line, "Drake elimination, fake intimidation." He's framing the entire song as a response to attempts to cancel or diminish him. Attempts that, in his view, have clearly failed. The dictionary reference isn't just a random diss, it's part of a larger narrative Drake is crafting about his resilience against Kendrick's attacks. Fan discussions across social media platforms have been dissecting these lyrics for days, with many catching the implications behind Drake's seemingly casual references. The consensus is building that this represents a clear mockery of Kendrick's lyrical style, suggesting it's too pretentious for mainstream hip-hop culture. What makes this approach particularly effective is how it flips the script on Kendrick's usual advantage. While Kendrick is often praised for his artistic depth and meaningful content, Drake reframes these strengths as weaknesses, portraying Kendrick as out of touch with the cultural reality of what hip-hop means to everyday listeners. It's not just saying Kendrick's music is bad, it's suggesting it's irrelevant where it matters most. Remember when everyone thought Kendrick delivered the final blow at the Super Bowl? While 127 million viewers watched K-Dot perform Not Like Us on America's biggest stage, Drake was quietly orchestrating what might be the most calculated comeback in hip-hop beef history. The Sixth God didn't just sit back and take the L. He transformed an Australian concert into the perfect battleground for his resurrection. February 12th, 2025, just hours after Kendrick's halftime triumph, Drake stood defiantly on a Melbourne stage with a message that couldn't be mistaken. Instead of cowering from the global attention Kendrick received, Drake faced the situation head-on with a visual that spoke volumes before he even opened his mouth. Walking out in a hoodie riddled with fake bullet holes, Drake turned himself into a walking metaphor. A man who'd absorbed every shot Kendrick fired and remained standing. But the bullet-holed hoodie was just the appetizer. The real masterstroke came during his performance of Knife Talk. In a moment that sent shockwaves through the arena, Drake altered a key lyric from "This N a dies" to "I never died." The crowd erupted as they realized what they were witnessing. Drake wasn't just performing. He was rewriting the narrative in real time. This wasn't an accident or a random change. It was a direct response to Kendrick's attempts to end his career through diss tracks and public humiliation. The symbolism cut deeper than any diss track could. While Kendrick used words as weapons, Drake used his survival as a shield. Drizzy Drake is very much alive, and that's all thanks to you. He told the Melbourne crowd, transforming what should have been Kendrick's victory lap into Drake's comeback story. The audience didn't just hear Drake's response. They became part of it, their energy fueling his resurrection narrative. What makes this counterattack so brilliant is its timing. When most artists would lay low after such a public thrashing on the Super Bowl stage, Drake leaned into the moment. Industry experts note that by responding so quickly and visually, Drake managed to shift the conversation from Kendrick's triumph back to his own resilience. The bullet-holed hoodie created headlines that competed directly with Kendrick's Super Bowl coverage, effectively splitting the media's attention. The Australian audience became unwitting participants in hip-hop history. Eyewitnesses described the atmosphere as electric, with fans instantly recognizing the significance of what they were seeing. This wasn't just another tour stop. It was Drake reclaiming his narrative through a carefully choreographed visual and lyrical statement. While Kendrick had the Super Bowl's massive platform, Drake had something potentially more powerful: authenticity and raw emotion that resonated with his loyal fan base. Music industry veterans point to this Melbourne maneuver as a masterclass in crisis management. Rather than issue a formal response or drop a hasty diss track, Drake integrated his comeback into his existing tour, making it feel organic rather than desperate. The bullet holes spoke of survival. The changed lyrics spoke of resilience. And addressing the crowd directly created an intimate moment of connection that contrasted sharply with Kendrick's massive but impersonal Super Bowl spectacle. The bullet-holed hoodie sent one message, but Drake's latest lyrics tell a completely different story that's left fans puzzled. When the Six God rapped, "It's a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit," was he waving a white flag or executing his most cunning strategy yet? Behind this apparent surrender lies a legal battle and a series of subtle jabs that paint a much more complicated picture of Drake's true intentions. On the surface, Drake seems ready to move on. The dismissive line about rap beef appears to signal he's over the Kendrick drama and would rather focus on making club bangers. It's the kind of statement that initially reads as concession. Drake's tired of the back and forth and wants to return to what he does best: making hits that get the crowd moving. But here's where things get interesting. At the exact same time Drake's telling the world he's done with beef, he's quietly filing a lawsuit against Universal Music Group. The legal documents claim UMG promoted Kendrick's Not Like Us, despite it containing what Drake calls false and malicious accusations about him, including allegations of pedophilia. The lawsuit even states these accusations put Drake and his family in actual danger. Notice what's missing from the lawsuit? Kendrick Lamar's name as a defendant. This calculated omission allows Drake to fight back without appearing directly invested in the feud. He's essentially saying, "I'm not beefing with Kendrick, I'm just holding the label accountable for endangering my safety." It's a masterclass in maintaining the high ground while still throwing punches. Industry insiders with knowledge of Drake's strategy see this as psychological warfare at its finest. By publicly claiming the beef is beneath him, Drake denies Kendrick the satisfaction of a clear victory. It's like telling someone, "You're not worth my time," after they've put enormous effort into attacking you, a dismissal that can sting worse than a direct counterattack. This approach aligns perfectly with Drake's historical playbook. Throughout his career, he's often emerged victorious from feuds by appearing unbothered rather than engaging in obvious back and forth. When you study his previous battles, you'll notice a pattern of subtle jabs and indirect references that allow him to maintain an air of superiority without seeming desperate or overly invested. What makes this strategy particularly effective is how it contradicts Drake's other artistic choices. While verbally dismissing the beef, his album artwork speaks volumes with visual elements that fans immediately recognized as references to his ongoing conflict with Kendrick. It's as if Drake's saying one thing verbally, while his artistic expression reveals the truth. This battle is far from over. The most fascinating aspect of Drake's "F's a rap beef" line is how it functions as both surrender and attack simultaneously. By appearing to step away from the conflict, Drake positions himself as the mature party who's moved beyond petty squabbles. Yet by doing so in such a public manner, and while pursuing legal action, he's actually continuing the fight on his own terms. Music experts point out that this duality creates a no-win situation for Kendrick. If Kendrick continues attacking, he looks obsessed with someone who's over it. If he stops, Drake gets the last word. Either way, Drake's apparent dismissal of the beef functions as its own form of victory, a contradiction that reveals the chess-like nature of high-profile rap feuds. While Drake employs subtle tactics and legal maneuvers, Kendrick's recent Grammy dominance has tilted the scales in this high-profile feud. Winning 5 Grammys for Not Like Us, including Record and Song of the Year, Kendrick isn't just collecting trophies. He's cementing his narrative as the victor in hip-hop's most-watched battle. The awards validate his attacks and give him undeniable industry backing that Drake's strategic moves can't easily counter. What makes this rivalry particularly explosive is Kendrick's apparent refusal to consider peace. In his recent work, he's made it crystal clear. He'd rather push conflicts to their breaking point than offer an olive branch. This suggests the chess match is far from over, despite Drake's attempts to rewrite the rules. As fans continue dissecting every move, the ultimate question remains: can Drake's calculated 3-pronged approach overcome Kendrick's Grammy-validated dominance? Or has the narrative permanently shifted in Kendrick's favor?